おばんです. Someone once said that time keeps everything from happening all at once. I have been thinking about that for a very long time, because from where I sit, beside this kotatsu, in this room, I am not entirely certain it is still true. Not for me, not anymore. The warashi at the kotatsu, the road in the snow, the woman who sat beside me, they do not feel like the past. They feel like now, all of it, at once. Sit very close tonight. This one is mine. It is time for chapter 145, Granny's Story. Time is a convenience. I understood this gradually, not all at once, which is perhaps the last gift time gave me before it stopped working the way it once did. It gave me the understanding slowly, in pieces, over years, the way you give difficult news to someone you care about, a little at a time, until the full shape of it becomes clear. And the full shape of it is this. Time keeps everything from happening all at once for those who are still entirely on one side of it. For those of us who have drifted to the other side, or who sit as I sit, somewhere between the two, time becomes something different, not absent, simply. No longer keeping things apart the way it used to. I noticed it first with small things, a memory that felt not like a memory, but like a present moment, the particular smell of something my mother cooked in this kitchen, not remembered, but experienced, as though she were cooking it now, in the next room. I would find myself turning toward the smell before I remembered that the memory was decades old, that she had been gone for a very long time, that the kitchen was empty, but the smell was not a memory. It was present, immediate, happening now. I began paying attention to these moments, noting when something that should have been in the past felt instead like now. The list grew longer over time, or what remained of time, for me. The warashi at the kotatsu does not feel like something that happened long ago. It feels like something happening now. I can feel the bowl in my hands, the warmth of the kotatsu, Dadachia's voice from the next room, the old woman in the corner, myself as I now understand, watching me eat with the expression I have since learned to recognize as the expression of someone watching something they love and cannot hold. It is not a memory I am describing. It is a present moment, happening now, as I sit here beside this kotatsu and tell you this. The warashi is at this kotatsu. Dadachiya is in the next room. The old woman, me, is in the corner. All of it. Now. At once. Izui, that is the word for it. The discomfort of everything being present simultaneously. If these stories have found their way to you, if you find yourself returning to this quiet room, there is something small you can do. Like and subscribe. It tells me, and whatever else watches from this room, that you were here and that you intend to find your way back. If you have a story of your own, Granny is always listening, watching, waiting. The road in the snow is also now. I am walking it as I sit here. The particular quality of the cold, the snow changing the sound of the world, the figure coming toward me from the direction of my own village, myself coming the other way, the 4 sentences said, in my own voice, all of it present, immediate, not recollected but experienced, and the woman who sat beside me at this kotatsu also now. I can feel the cold coming off her. The particular quality of sitting beside yourself and understanding that the distance between who you are and who you will become is not as large as time once made it seem. All of these moments, the warashi, the road, the kotatsu, exist simultaneously, in this room, at this moment. As I speak to you, chokkiri, exactly right. That is what it feels like. Everything exactly present, all at once. I wonder, have you ever had a memory that felt less like remembering and more like being there again? Not recollection, but presence. The smell, the sound, the exact quality of the light. Perhaps time has been loosening its grip on you also, slowly, without your noticing. If you have a story of your own, this quiet room has space for your experiences too. Granny is always listening. I do not experience this as distressing. I want to be clear about that. Guude. I was tired for a long time, carrying all of it separately. The past here, the present there, the future somewhere ahead. The effort of keeping them in their correct positions, in the correct sequence, the way time asks you to. That effort was considerable. And when time gradually stopped asking that of me, when the warashi and the road and the woman beside the kotatsu all settled into the same moment, the tiredness lifted, not because the experiences themselves were lighter, but because carrying them all as one thing is easier than carrying them separately, as pieces, in a sequence that time insists upon, for as long as time is insisting. You are still here. Good. Some stories need a witness all the way to the end. I wonder if time stopped keeping things apart for you. Which moments would arrive first? I sit beside this kotatsu now. I also sit beside it as a warashi. I also sit beside it as the woman who had a visitor she did not expect. I also sit beside it in the years between, the ordinary years that time kept carefully separated while it was still doing that for me. All of it now. All of it here. In this room, at this kotatsu, the shoji doors the same, the quality of the light the same, the dacha in the next room and also gone for many years, and also simply not yet here, all simultaneously true. This is what I have been trying to tell you across 3 stories now. The warashi, the road, the visitor. They were not leading to this. They were always this. I simply needed time to stop keeping them apart before I could see it clearly. That's right. Exactly right. Someone said time keeps everything from happening all at once. I heard this recently, in a way that suggested it was meant as reassurance, as though the job of time is to protect us from the overwhelming simultaneity of everything. And perhaps it is. Perhaps time is a kindness, a spacing out of what would otherwise be unbearable in its totality. The warashi and the road and the woman beside the kotatsu, all at once from the beginning, might have been too much. Given one at a time, across a long life, they were simply a life. And now that time has loosened its grip, Now that they are all present simultaneously, I find I am grateful for the spacing, for the kindness of the sequence, even as I sit here with all of it at once. Ndanyaa. Time was generous with me. I did not always understand that. I understand it now. Another whispered story from Japan, shared quietly here beside the kotatsu. Someone once said that time keeps everything from happening all at once. I believe this is true. For as long as time is working as it should, for as long as you are entirely on one side of it. But I want you to understand, from where I sit with all of it present simultaneously, that what waits on the other side of time's keeping is not frightening. It is simply everything, all at once. The warashi at the kotatsu and the road in the snow, and the woman who sat beside me and Adachi in the next room, and all the ordinary years between. Present, immediate, now. And the feeling of it, once the tiredness of keeping it all in sequence has lifted, is not overwhelming. It is chokkiri, exactly right, as though time was always going to bring you here eventually, to the place where everything happens at once, beside the kotatsu, in this room, where it was always happening, all along. If this story stayed with you, if the dark or the shadow feels a little closer tonight, you know where to find me. I am always here beside the kotatsu, watching, waiting. And if you wish others to find their way here too, there is something small you can do. Like and subscribe. I would not object. And if you have a story of your own, this quiet room has space for your experiences too. Granny is always listening.